Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more DPL action for today. It's one of two remaining series Invictus Gaming versus the sister squad iG.Vitality. So should be a pretty interesting one here. Both of these teams, you would assume they know each other. Not sure if they're in the same house or anything, but last couple of times they matched up each other historically, they've kind of traded back and forth. So it should be a fairly even match. If you look at the standings though, iG.Vitality sitting at 8 and 6, very respectable record so far in DPL. iG proper though, they're sitting at 7 and 1, so they haven't played as many games just yet, and they're sitting at a pretty good record that they're looking to try and keep even up against iG.Vitality. My name is Dragondrop, taking over for Mikop here as he does have to go to sleep, and I'm also joined by the one and only Skim Gaming. How are you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me again. I'm looking forward to this matchup. I think iG.Vitality and IG have proven over the past few weeks now that they're probably two of the stronger teams in China. Both of them qualified for the KF majors, so I think this is going to be an exciting one. And like you said, they do have a bit of history together. There's been quite a few series where they've clashed already. Most recently, obviously, again, KF major in the playoffs, and then also in Starladder a few weeks ago. So these two teams, even if they don't sit in the same house together, they know each other.
Oh yeah. In, I mean that's what you would expect, right? So two teams in one organization.
All right,
I mean,
right.
if you're looking for a scrim partner, that's the first squad that you think of, right? But yeah, we'll see where the series takes us. As the drafts are taking a little bit to get going. Teams think about these bans. Monkey King not going to be joining us, thank God, because his ultimate always makes me lag like crazy. But we do see some familiar faces. The Centaur Warner being the first pick for IG.
Yeah, if you just look at the bands again, IG base definitely iG.Vitality. Leicester and the Juggernaut are two of their favorite core heroes that they love to pick up in the first phase as well. So immediately denying that, and even the Centaur. I mean, the Centaur is a meta pick, so I guess it's not special. It's not special to iG.Vitality, but still, IG going with a very safe draft. I think just securing the Centaur early and making sure that iG.Vitality does not get their comfort picks.
Yep. Only getting some fairly strong meta picks anyway. Nyx Assassin, Crystal Maiden. Um, Especially CM, see that picked up every once in a while, just as a great stabilizing factor for your entire draft. It makes the lane so much better with the Arcane Aura, and the low cooldown on Frostbite later on is super useful. And if you can get a good ultimate off, it does a surprising amount of damage. So I'm a big fan of that hero, especially if you already have that Nyx Assassin to go with it, which already provides a lot of extra control factor that CM is maybe lacking in the AoE sense at the very least.
This opening, this next Assassin Crystal Maiden, is actually something that Southeast Asian teams used to do going into the Boston Major. Like this was a really popular draft or popular pick combo basically in Southeast Asia because of basically what you said. You have the next Assassin who is a really good offlaner that will benefit from the aura, and even if you don't want to run him as an offlane, he will always benefit from the aura. So it's just a really solid pickup in the first phase, and it doesn't really give away anything. Crystal Bane is just a lane stabilizer. Nyx Assassin is just a solid offliner, and it also puts a little bit of a scare into Invictus Gaming going into this draft because once you go into thinking about your mid laner, you'll have to think about heroes that don't necessarily suffer from Nyx Assassin because Nyx does counter a variety of heroes.
Yeah, kind of takes out most of these intelligence mids out of the picture because it's just such a huge liability, right? You're thinking about the ODs, the pucks, the storm spirits, even that are just getting absolutely murdered by the mana burn, especially once that's maxed out. It's down to a 4-second cooldown, I believe. Yeah, with a five times intelligence multiplier as damage. So you definitely gotta want to go back to some sort of agility mid. Maybe in the Venomancer that's been becoming more and more popular these days.
Yeah, but even then, and this is why I think Nyx right now, I guess, is that he can create so much space, and he can put a lot of like he poses a threat on the map because his presence or the lack thereof will make sure that any hero on Invictus Gaming side will feel very scared while roaming around the map. And even outside of the heroes, the intelligence heroes, every hero that relies on mobility will greatly suffer in this game because they'll always have to fear the Nyx assassin possibly being behind them.
Yep.
So I think this is I don't know, I think it's just a good pickup for them for now. It even opened us up possible combinations as well. Say the Invoker had been in here, iG.Vitality could have gone for the Invoker, Nyx assassin, roams Invis and then stuns, and then that sets up for a Sunstrike kill.
Oh
So
yeah.
that could have been a possibility.
Well, wisely taken out by AG. So if you really wanted to commit to something like that, you could still go back for the IO. I haven't seen a whole lot of that in Chinese Dota as of late. Yeah, they're gonna go for the Shadow Fiend for now, so super solid mid. He dies to some other heroes, and he can struggle early on if you don't get him the souls, but other than that, it's a great hero to one, also benefit from the Crystal Maiden aura, and two, have a really strong presence in the mid game damage wise.
Yeah, it's a very solid pickup, and the thing is, you don't really if you're IG, I don't think you're looking for necessarily now for a hero, or maybe you are looking for a hero now that has kill potential with the Slaughter pickup and the Vengeful Spirit as well. I think you definitely want a mid hero now that has kill potential
Oh yeah.
because you want to use these heroes as effectively as possible.
You look at IG's
So
lineup right now, and you see a lot of control, a lot of minus armor. Especially with the Venge, whether it ends up being a support or even a core. There's going to be a lot of action coming out of IG towards iG.Vitality in the mid game, so you'd want to have someone that's actually able to contribute to that on mid instead of just something like a Timbersaw, something who just wants AFK farm to Bloodstone. So
they might
maybe looking
even
for PA or something along those lines.
yeah, they might even go with an aggressive tri lane.
Yeah,
If they go aggressively, they could just leave the Venge and then they have as a dual lane for some time and have the Slaughter roam a little bit. That could work great. I think aggressive tri lanes, especially with the Shrine now in the game, work really well. So this is something that iG.Vitality has to look at. Crystal Maiden in a tri lane scenario is not the greatest.
yep,
She excels in dual lanes, and in tri lanes she falls off because her spells aren't that great in tri lane scenarios. So if she gets caught out, she's an easy kill. So I guess this is something that iG.Vitality has to consider now, and maybe pick up a hero that carry that either doesn't suffer from it, or they have the bad rating maybe in the bottom lane. Maybe they can dodge the tri lane. I think
yep.
that could be great.
I mean, CM and Nyx, if you think about them as supports, they have limited utility in these tri-lane scenarios. But I actually want to argue they're better in an aggro try than a defensive try. Just because
Probably, yeah.
if you can duck and weave around the trees, if you can be the ones just putting on pressure by having a presence, and you have the lockdown to go with it, and just add a Juggernaut if it wasn't banned out, or some other carry that provides some extra damage, can easily get kills of your own. Whereas in defensive tri lane, you're the one in a position where you're kind of stuck in a corner, and you may not necessarily have enough space to just walk around and wrap around as much as you want to.
Yeah, so Lena definitely fills the role of this mid laner that we kind of talked about that has killing potential. With this, they can threaten the Shadow Fiend early game, something that you brought up earlier. That if you're playing against a Shadow Fiend, either you just don't want to mind his business and you want to outfarm him potentially, or make sure that you keep everybody else in his team down, or you just go all in on the or no, not necessarily all in on the Shadow Fiend, but you want to make sure that his early game is not great. And Lina, Slada, that's so much kill potential early on. And iG.Vitality, they don't really have a defensive support right now. I guess Crystal Maiden could rotate to his lane and with a Frostbite, against Slaughter, that's actually pretty effective. It's pretty instant cast time as well, so that's pretty nice. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean it's great if you survive long enough to be able to throw out some damage if you're a Shadow Fiend and maybe get the turnaround kill, but it's not something that can really prevent the damage from coming out in the first place.
Visage.
Oh god.
All right.
Is
So the
that
question is,
is that a core Visage or core
yeah, is
Venge?
that is that a core Visage or core Venge? If you had to choose in this game, I would probably actually go with a core Visage because the birds are going to be really strong.
Yeah.
I will say that Actually, they. All right. As I did say that because I think the birds themselves can kill pretty much. They if you just send the birds on a Crystal Main will die.
Yep.
But I will say that Frostbite is actually pretty good against the birds. They have a lot of AoE damage as well, so maybe support visit should be better.
It's gonna be either one of these anyway, but I think the idea is the same, right? You want to have a hero that does a lot of physical damage in the mid game,
Yeah.
that just synergizes with all this minus armor that they have, that hits at the same timing that the Lina is also really strong at, around the 15 to 25-minute mark, I want to say. And in that sense, IG have a very scary lineup for that particular timing window. And iG.Vitality, they only have 45 seconds to find a safe laner that can, one, deal with that, and two, perhaps even looking further, outscale this lineup completely.
Man, I love this Visage pickup. Visage is the king of tri-lanes, and if they really do go for an aggressive tri-lane, they will crush iG.Vitality, I think. In a tri-v-tri
Oh yeah.
situation, unless IG out misplays, I think IG should absolutely crush. And that makes me wonder, what does iG.Vitality choose to go for? Do they want a defensive carry that can, either farm safely or has very defensive capabilities that make it really difficult to kill? Yeah,
Oh.
sounds
Oh.
about like they're going for that one.
With the Slack now, they definitely have to dodge though, because that's not exactly a hero that tri-lanes very well. He has his defensive capabilities, but not before level 6, and lane is actually rather weak. Because his one
Right,
nuke
right.
that he has also hurts himself, which is something that you can't afford unless you bring massive amounts of regen. So, yeah, if IG can find his tri-lane against iG.V, that's gonna be confusing throughout this entire game, isn't it? IG and iG.V. But if they
We
bring
could
this
call them
aggro
IG and
try
Vitality.
up against the Slug, then Vitality will have issues.
Yeah, it's
So I
gonna be
was,
interesting, really. I think there's gonna be a lot of mind games
yeah,
in the early game. I wouldn't be surprised if Vitality, for example, showed up with one hero. I think we've seen that actually in a game prior to this one, where you just show yourself on the lane and pretend like, oh yeah, we're just gonna have our normal lane, but then somebody else is already smoked out, walking towards the other one, towards the other lane, to make sure that if they do rotate the lanes out, at least the other team has to expend time or a TP, for example.
yep. Oh, curious to see how this works out. I would have maybe thoughts about something like a Sven, which would have, I believe, fit quite well for Vitality. I mean, you have that extra armor to protect yourself, extra control as well, fairly good in lane, and a shit ton of damage too.
Fun fact: iG.Vitality actually drafted almost this exact lineup in their last game yesterday,
Oh wow.
except they had a lifestealer instead of the Slark.
Yep.
This should go to show that this is just. Oh my god! All right. So sorry, but we talked about Invictus Gaming potentially taking the Visage carrier, but obviously we forgot that Burning loves playing Vengeful Spirit carry.
Yeah.
So this is something that we didn't even consider, but he absolutely loves the hero. I think when he was playing as a support for a few months, and then when he stood in for Vitality as a support as well, he would mainly play Vengeful Spirit.
Yep. Well, support Venge and core Venge are rather different things when it
Oh,
comes to
right, but
utilization, of
still,
course. But
he
yeah,
likes the
it's
hero. I think he
yeah.
pretty much likes, and Q is also a very notable Visage player. So this is the two things that we should have probably brought up earlier.
That block immediately scouted out. Q is just pinging his little heart out. Don't have a sentry with them to immediately get rid of it though. So
Boboka has them, but
oh, that
I
is.
think he wants to block the mid lane first for Lina
Oh
before he
yeah.
comes top with the ward. That's gonna be he's gonna be on time. Well, actually, for the first one, he might not be in time.
That's not the biggest of deals, I think. But then again, you only
Yeah,
need to
true
block it
enough.
for like 1 or 2 steps. Just make sure that Lina can actually get there and continue the block on her own.
True.
Yeah, game number 1 of this best of 2 in the DPL. Victus Gaming versus iG.Vitality. Sister teams facing up against each other. Should be an interesting one. My name is Dragondrop. I'm joined by Skim, in case you didn't notice. And Some fairly standard lanes, I suppose, from iG.Vitality. Good battle right here in the off lane. It's going to be joined for now by dogfights and support Nyx.
Yeah, IG chose not to go for the aggressive tri lane, which also is fine. This way, if the slaughter does go roaming, will have the Visage with the ability to pull and stack, and that way he gets more farm anyway.
That does mean though that's double crush up top, just trading. Gotta be careful though. I mean, Q already with the soul assumption level, so that's can be very potent nuke. But I'm looking at the Slark here and having a lane like this, it's definitely gonna be super useful for Paparazzi. Getting closer to his level 6, at which point he can become a little bit more self-sustaining.
This SF Lina mid lane is giving me flashbacks to TA5, when this used to be pretty much standard.
What do you think about Lina in general in this day and age?
She's a good hero. I think the talents do work pretty well on her, at least on a core position. The meta right now also really fits her. The shrines are really good for her because it allows her to farm more efficiently in the jungle. So overall, I think she's a good pickup these days. It's still a bit niche, and it's it's risky because there are a lot of heroes popular right now that can easily burst her. But in the right lineup, and I think this is the right lineup, I think she will work very well. Top lane looks like they want to go for the kill here.
Soul Assumption doing some good amount of damage here. Stun on 2, and Slaughter and Visage both starting to stack him on a napalm. Yeah. Downside
Oh
is that
no,
in July, they're actually going
that's...
closer to him. Another right click shot to the trick, and it's burning. Forcing out another stun, but now it's in July, actually dropping low himself. Another beautiful double stunner from Dogfights. Gives him the space to secure the first blood, even though burning will get a kill of his own.
Oh, he has another stun,
Anyway,
burning.
oh, he does. Doesn't throw it out.
Yeah,
Dogfights level 2,
he knows.
yeah.
Yeah, he knows that he has spike carapace now, so that wouldn't have worked with a Visage. It might. Yep, they want to go for it. Oh.
I just imagine if Batrider was level 2, if he had Flame Break, we would have been able to get these 2 kills very safely instead of having to dive in. Yeah.
That would have been beautiful.
It's always so scary for these supports if you start stacking up on the napalm and you don't even have a sticks to give yourself that extra bit of boost.
Yeah, it's the first thing that Boboka buys as well. As soon as he's back to base, immediate stick.
Oh, look at this middle lane, super. He was smoked up, walking behind the Lina, has a frostbite at the ready. Missed the slow. No, he actually doesn't.
No, he actually hit it, but I don't think he took damage. It didn't seem like he took damage from it.
He must have though, because he got
he must have always. Just...
But yeah, anyway, Cicada doesn't have the medium race, only has the big race.
There is a frostbite coming though. It will allow Cicada to walk up. Could even get the short raise off.
Yeah, just throw out the big race right now. It's about the right range and walk up a little bit for a second race. Should be enough damage too. So, poor little Lina. Gonna take a spill here in the middle lane.
And Cicada reconnects. It's a bit unfortunate that he's the one that had the issue and disconnected.
Might see one of these situations where it just let it go, but okay.
He's letting it go. All right.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it would have. I'm not sure if it would have been enough. It's just a level 1 frostbite.
That's level 2 raise though.
Yeah, I'm not sure he could have gotten both out though. That would have been maybe difficult. Either way, he let it go. That's very good for OP. Yep. Otherwise, that would have set him back quite a bit. And if you look at the last hits, he's already behind by quite a bit.
Yep. It's getting harder and harder. If you don't get the advantage early, then Shadow Fiend will start stacking up on the souls. And then how do you last it against that? Especially as Lina, who's a very crappy animation.
And OP didn't go for the bottle. Instead, he went straight for boots. So he chooses to just do well with last hits instead of, spell spam, I guess. Well, I mean, he's still spamming his spells, but...
Looking for harassment primarily, though.
Oh, and he finds a DT route now. Ooh. That's gonna be scary.
Now we can outlast it with Shadow Fiend. There you go. All you need is the right rune.
The thing is, though, her last hit animation sucks.
It really does.
in comparison to Shadow Fiends, so that does still give SF the advantage.
Such a long wind up, and the projectile is also not the fastest.
Yeah.
Oh. It's also wasting a lot of time just with picking up the DD rune at top rune spot and going all the way to the lower shrine. See, you already used this one on the high ground.
Yeah, I don't think you normally do that, but I think this time around they decided, Boboka's here anyway, might as well give him speed and a little bit of farm it while the Lina recovers.
Guess Sakata was doing a similar thing. But he's now farming stack as well, so good way to catch up again. And check out on the side lanes again, actually. Oh. Paparazzi down bottom, still doing quite well, but so's XSS actually. He's right on par with him in terms of level, so he's not really been zoned out. Now Paparazzi crushed up, but he removes that immediately. Now turning this around, trying to connect the jump onto Slada, but XSS locking it with his
Oh
big
no,
fat
he's not
body,
gonna
and
get
now
it.
is continuing to try and go for the kill. He's not fast enough.
He's not fast enough. That's really
Mistakes were
unfortunate.
made. At the very least, Paparazzi's not quite level 6 just yet. He needs one
Oh,
or
and
two more
Boboka
creeps
is
to die.
sticking around for way too long.
Oh no.
No.
Super is there. Paparazzi can't get closer to the creeps.
Alright. Still. That was great for Vitality. Paparazzi definitely needed that kill. Just to get the Centaur off his back for just a little bit. But
Oh.
he's back! Pops the ultimate.
It's not a whole lot of region just from one usage in plain view though. So you still gotta be careful. It's level 3 double edge. At this point.
Alright, I think this is a very calm laning stage. Not necessarily something that we expected going into it, just based on the draft. I mean, there was potential for, an aggressive tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario, where there could have been a lot of kills, but I almost agree with the way how this game played out in
Going
all
for dogfights, he
dogfights.
already uses stun. Has the bite carapace now, but Boka, well, mistaken on chin. Follow-ups there for burning. Massive burst damage from Q. A lot of sticks keeping him alive, so forcing him to dive the tower. And now Injuly coming through to maybe turn us around. Nice little flame break here. The tower aggro is still on Q, so he'll just end up falling immediately. But Boka, no TP scroll for another 40 seconds. They might not necessarily know that, so in fact he should be able to slither his way out.
I love how he immediately planted the ward once he knew that he had to dive back into the tree lane. Like, might as well drop this ward in case I die. But still not the greatest engagement for them. They had to invest a lot into the next assassin. Next assassin quite tanky at this point, just because he does have the poor man's shield. And
Right, they're going for XSS. Paparazzi stunned up. Raindrops will keep his health pool quite nicely alive, and well, Injuly joining with a little bit of extra damage to make sure the teleport isn't enough, and at least he's finding ways to be relevant without farming the jungle, which is something that he probably should be doing on his Batrider. He's only level 5 now, starting to fall
yeah,
a bit behind.
he's been going back and forth between jungle and lane, and I guess that's a little bit of the issue if you have both Batrider and SF in your team, because SF will take up most of the jungle.
He's soaking up the entirety of these jungle camps right now.
Pretty much. So in that regard, there's not too much space for Injuly to farm, and I'm actually surprised that they would do it this way. I mean, obviously you do want to give your Shadow Fiend as much as possible, just because he is your carry. But I mean, look at Injuly. He's literally just been walking around, just not really knowing what to do, I guess. They do smoke up now, so they're just gonna go for more kills.
So curious to see this from these two supports in particular, especially if neither of them is level 6. But I guess if you have dogfights as level 6, you can scout out and set up for something, then you don't necessarily need that extra control. Just need to be able to get close enough to throw
Yeah,
down the rest of
Q
your
is pretty
spells,
much
and there it
dead.
is, yeah. He'll realize it now. Gonna get the kill to super.
Down into the deep freeze.
So one of those moments, hey, I need my Trinkle Boots, give me the kill, please.
Yeah.
And there they are.
Same time as the Slug picks up his Midas after the Puma Shield, so Paparazzi also going that greedy route. But it's also nice, right? Extra levels, super important, with a good amount of, like the good talents that he has as well.
Right. It's actually interesting if you look at the net worth graph. how it is an almost 3k net worth advantage for Vitality. And this is just because how they've been playing the map, and they've been playing a bit more efficiently. Dogfights has been pretty much by himself in this offlane for most of the time. The Crystal Maiden, when she was in the bottom lane, she did jungle a little bit. And they're gonna even find a kill on the carry here. Probably,
maybe not. Stampede comes out to try and
alright,
turn this
Stampede
around,
is
and now the rest of IG comes in at the same time. They're gonna hit the crush off onto in July, follow up with the stomp from Centaur. They just need to get a double edge, and they do, and a soul assumption. Desperately needed to turn this around, but double stunned from Dogfights as he comes back in. And this time around, the soul assumption, last charge, not quite enough. It's a 1-4 trade at the end of the day still.
1-4 trade. Yeah. But the good thing is that the Bad Rider didn't really lose too much gold because he
Doesn't have too much gold.
well,
Nah,
I mean, he's 1.5k gold.
Actually, a lot of that is reliable because he's been getting it
Yeah.
through kills instead of jungle farms. So in that sense, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Exactly. But yeah, again, Vitality has been farming much more efficiently than Invictus Gaming has, mostly because they've been spreading the farm across pretty much every hero. They've been utilizing the jungle very early on, which is something that Invictus Gaming can't really do. Outside of the Lina, nobody can really farm the jungle efficiently. Maybe the Centaur, but he wanted to stay in lane.
Obviously,
go
you
for
got
a
a
kill
lot
now.
out of the lane. So why would you leave
The
that?
smoke gank.
Smoke will break, Burning gets the swap off into the crush here, follow
They
the
don't have
snare
Invis detection.
from
Oh,
stun.
they do actually.
They do have a dust and a lot of damage still being done by Cicada. Not enough though. Super comes through, nice little Dragon Slave to snag the kill. Paparazzi looking to try and trade. 1-for-1 carry here. Burning will lose that fight. Dogfight's also making an appearance, providing the next bit of control and serving up a double kill for the Slark. And this is a very scary thing indeed. At the very least, they got the SF, another important kill to be able to get. Meanwhile, up top, Q might just still burn out here, and he will. TP is not enough, but OP, well, got the Dragon Slave snipe on the SF, and now another one up top on the bad
Yeah, that was a little bit of a weird decision on maybe possibly miscommunication between Slada and Burning. Burning went up the steps just by himself, and in general, their smoking was really weird because they had zero vision and walked uphill with no vision. For all they know, they could have run into no hero at all or into all of them, and they did pretty much run into all of them. I mean, if you gank somebody at their shrine, expect there to be TP support.
Yeah, I mean, they got lucky in that the shrine wasn't up. Or else Cicada might have even survived.
Exactly, exactly. So that was a weird decision to go for that gank in particular. But I do, in general, agree. You know, with the gank from together with Burning and Boboka. I mean, Burning did go for early damage items with the phase boots and then the early Blightstone, or the value Blightstone, I should say.
And the max wave of terror.
Oh, Lina, OP is getting caught out,
Oh.
but nah. All right, it's not enough damage.
Level
Dogfights
mana
is not intelligent enough yet.
Well, it isn't Dogfights whose intelligence matters, is it? It needs levels, needs to be experienced with a mana burn. But yeah.
Alright, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's yeah. Maybe OP's not intelligent enough yet. Whatever.
I see what you were trying to do there, but
The joke still works.
Yeah, it still works, but didn't quite line up with the mechanics the way that you told it. But then again, who am I to criticize jokes? My jokes are the
Pretty sure it
worst.
used to be. I'm pretty sure either his mana burn or some other mana burn, but it used to be the difference between intelligence. Or is it
It's
OD?
the OD ultimate.
It's OD. Yeah, it's OD ultimate. Whatever.
Sanity's Eclipse. But yeah, for now, Invictus Gaming looking to claim another tower. Second one on the Radiant side. Dire still has all of theirs, but iG.V
Nice scouting with the birds, though.
don't want to try and turn this around here. They find in July just preventing his blink from coming out. Meanwhile, in the back though, Paparazzi finds the Centaur. Pretty tanky target, so it does get the Stampede off. The Crush. But this, oh wow, good ultimate there from the Shadow Fiend, slowing them all down, doing a decent amount of setup damage. So it's two heroes going down, Burning himself also, not long for the world, as Injulight blinks after him, just needs to slow him down a little bit more. The Razors
His stick charges?
actually... Wow, still alive, Flamebreak catches him, 3
that might
napalm
just be
stacks, yeah, he should die to this, and he does. Paparazzi in the meantime gets another one, and the fight's not even over yet, they will lose Super. But they're gonna be still very, very happy with that, unless they lose this one to the buybacks now. Paparazzi really wants to get this kill, but he doesn't. Gonna have to give it to iG.Vitality. Triple kill for him, but OP coming back into the fray. With that minus 30-second respawn time at Talent. Thank you, Volvo.
You know,
Gets
that
himself
might
a kill on with the Laguna Blade.
actually be a favorable trade still for Vitality. They wiped
Yeah,
Invictus Gaming entirely.
it
They
didn't
forced
look
out a
like
buyback
it.
from
Yeah,
us.
it didn't look like it
It
because
really,
they're all coming back so quickly because it's still rather early. But yeah, according to the fight recap as well, it's 1,000 gold gain there for iG.Vitality, mostly on Batrider though, and well, he put that
I
to
guess
use for the Staff of Wizardry.
I guess the negative thing about this engagement is that they gave 2 crucial kills to OP.
Yeah.
That puts him at the top of the net worth chart. But in general, they wiped the IG, and
Oh, they'll
the
also
buyback on startup forced means
gonna get Q here, just a casual Nyx gank, but now he might pay the price for it here. XSSS. Oh, nice warp actually to the high ground is super. Try to channel his ultimate from below, but Lina killing her
but
sister.
burning.
Reg no nepotism here between the Lina and the CM.
Burning can't catch a break.
And that's who, yeah, he also gets caught.
His net worth is actually atrocious. For a carry that had a lot of free farm,
Yeah.
he is not getting a lot on this map right now.
Keeps putting
4K
himself in
net
these
worth.
keeps putting themselves in these dangerous situations, but he doesn't have like these tanky items that you sometimes see from carry Avengers. You don't have the Dragonlance.
See, this is actually what I'm so impressed about, that he chooses to go for phase boots instead of for treads, just because treads just, I don't know, to me it's just a better item on Vengeful Spirit. I don't dislike the phase boots, they're just a lot of good damage, but I think it's also the greedy option. But yeah, if they get this Aegis, that could be pretty great for them. Just a little bit of money, the burning safety net, basically.
Yep.
And doesn't seem like Vitality will contest this whatsoever.
They have a lot of good minus armor here on this team, burning with max wave of terror, complete medallion, plus of course the amplifier damage.
There are 2 Shadow Blades on Vitality's side now, on side and on
Yeah.
Paparazzi also going for the Midas first.
Yeah,
Or
he's had that
second?
going for a while.
Actually, was it second? It was first, right?
He's got casual boots into Midas and then
Yeah.
bunch of treads and everything else, so yeah. He's had that going for a while since mid 9. So yeah, 2 Shadow Blades. IG have to stop planting sentries everywhere they go, essentially. But while we have the pause, we can look at some of the other items that we might have missed. Op, Lina. Just finished up the Bloodstone too, so that's gonna be a nice little addition to his inventory.
Yeah, but he has to be careful. I mean, he has a really early Bloodstone timing, and he has been farming pretty nice. Or that's a fairly good timing for Bloodstone, but they have to be careful. They're very much behind. There are these 2 Shadow Blades now, and just guessing from these 2 Shadow Blades, I think Vitality will play more aggressively because they are ahead in this game. And if you buy a Bloodstone when you're behind, that can be good, to catch up. You have the additional regen, you're just more tankier, but it can also mean you lose all your charges and the item becomes useless.
Especially in a game up against an Nyx Assassin, it's always a liability. If you're not exactly sure where dogfights is, then you really have to mind your positioning, because if you do get caught out, even if it's just a setup for dogfights and someone else does the deciding damages, he's still not getting into that max mana burn until much, much later. It's can turn into a very high liability, and if you die a couple of times, then this Bloodstone just turns into a very expensive item that doesn't give you as much as you need it to.
Pretty much. But I guess they do have a little bit of time until they really need to, until he, loses his Bloodstone charges. Until then, it's a great item, especially for farming. But Dogfights is already here.
Finds it right now. There it is. Blink Lasso. Gonna take him a little bit back. There's some help here. Burning uses a swap. And Dogfights, well, doesn't have enough damage to finish off himself. Turnaround from IG, looking to focus on iG.Vitality as well as Dogfights at the same time, so they only get the Nyx Assassin. iG.Vitality able to make it to the shrine.
Yeah, but the most important part here is that they prevent a kill on OP.
Yeah.
He in fact even does get a kill, so that's one Bloodstone charge.
Yep.
And looks like they might even go. Oh no, never mind. I thought Boboka would come with a smoke, but he's just refilling the bottle, and even brought a self.
Yeah.
What a nice guy.
Self gaming, making sure that OP can still play around here with the rest of his team, because that's what his survivability relies on. And the only way he doesn't die there is if the rest of his team is ready to respond. But now, 4 heroes down bottom in July, sitting in our trees, doesn't have another last for 20 seconds. Has to be careful not to get scouted out here, actually, yeah. Range creepers looking for him. We still want to fight this here, whoa, in July. Yeah, okay, didn't get caught. You have dogfights in this. I don't think he can do anything here now. So a good grab there from IG. They can also rotate back top to defend against Paparazzi if they really want to.
And they're smoking up. Looks like they are either gonna. Yeah, that looks like they're trying to find the Shadow Fiend, which is pretty nice. But yeah, they definitely
He
want
might
to make
very
something
well
happen
hit
with
Cicada, goes
Vegas.
high ground, doesn't get his ult Shadowblade off in time, so now he's being scattered out by the corrosive haze. Turns this into a very easy kill.
That is a big kill and gives them probably the tier 2 tower actually. Oh, Lina.
This
Still
could
go
be
for
good
it.
here, and just denies himself, never mind. No kill, but at the very least you take away some of these Bloodstone charges and Super even gets out of there.
Yeah, they thought they could revenge kill her basically, but they can't. But I guess they're going for the tier 1 top now. I'm surprised though. They were in a really good position to threaten the tier 2 mid. And the Shadow Fiend was at what, 50-second death timer, so I'm not sure if Vitality would have defended it, especially since they knew that the slug as well.
They still are holding on to the Aegis for burning for a little while longer, so they also have that going for them. But instead they just try to go for the counter kills up top, not gonna find it, so just have to settle for the tier 1. Yeah.
Shadowblade coming out from OP now as well. It's pretty usual Lina build here. I wonder if he's gonna go for the Aghanims afterwards, or if he's gonna go Silver's Edge first.
In this game, wouldn't hate Silver's Edge. So
The damage reduction
if
is pretty
nothing
good.
else, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great against Shadow Fiend, great against Slark. Look at this too, Midas now. Dogfights.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
That's
surprised if
selling in
Bulbokar
for
goes
longer.
back for Midas as well. Yeah, there it is. It's queued up
God
already.
damn it. 21-minute Midases, or even later in this case. What does Dota come to?
Yeah, on a support hero that usually plays offlane or core in general, you definitely want a Midas. Even if it's after the blink, it's just better because you lack all the experience that you usually want, and it just helps you better transition into the late game.
Well, Blink Lasso after the
mid
smoke,
lane.
they're looking for the Lena and he will need some help. Stampede is there, but of course, no reason to pop it if the lockdown is keeping in place anyway.
It's actually pretty interesting because both Visage and Centaur were behind the Lina, and I assume it's just because to keep her. But once she got cut out, both of them were like, what do we actually do now? I guess there's not really anything we can do because we're just a Centaur and a Visage.
Centaur could technically blink in, pop the pipe, and stomp and stuff like that to try and interrupt it, but the likely outcome would be that he just feeds himself on top of the Lina, so it's
Right.
It's not ideal, especially since OP immediately respawn between the talent as well as the Bloodstone charges.
Looks like IG are gonna keep on pushing Justice 5. I like the way, by the way, they've been playing. Basically to counter these Shadow Blades, just
Scouting
stay
them
as
out.
5.
There's the blink from XSSS. Cicada invis with the ultimate, throwing it down. Couple of right clicks, finishing off the Centaur in a moment here. Shows the BKB to not get stunned up by the Lena. Finally, they find him. Injuline on the side has to be careful not to be caught out. Paparazzi pops his own BKB and the ultimate here, turning this around, killing off the Lena. Maybe not just yet. Still alive, throws down the ultimate. Now it's Paparazzi is in a lot of trouble. One more rocket from Boboka will catch him. Finally, Cicada on the side starting to clean up, but it's IG We're getting the better end of this trade so far as Vitality is forced back. Forced to dodge, and
Your
well,
blood flows.
Slaughter didn't get the memo, he was isolated. So that's
That
an
was
extra
a
pick for Vitality.
That's a bit of a
Very,
weird
yeah,
engagement
it's
for
very chaotic.
Vitality. Very spread. The BKB on Slard almost did nothing because he was by himself. Oh, they find the Vengeful Spirit.
Oh god. Also find the Crystal Maiden up in the high ground, Lina in pretty good position. So another 1-for-1 trade.
That
So hard
actually makes
to...
it
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually makes it a really good trade for Vitality now, because in total, they pretty much killed the core heroes on IG side, and they didn't lose the Shadow Fiend. Yeah, they lost the Slug, but they didn't lose the Shadow Fiend, so that's actually pretty good for Vitality.
That's the bottom
Uh,
line even, right? In Slark, even if he dies, he still has Midas to like still
yeah,
keep it on the path, so he's just right behind the Shadow Fiend, or even ahead of Shadow Fiend in terms of net worth now anyway.
and if you're Vitality, I think you think to yourself, all right, this was a very discombobulated fight. You know, everybody was all over the place. We didn't really fight as a unit.
Yeah.
But once we do fight as a unit, we still have these two 9-second BKBs that are gonna, you know, mess up IG.
Well, oh, Sentry is being dropped down. Dogfights misses the crush on him, but at the very least keeps tab with a corrosive haze. But also at the same time, making Dogfights realize that there's a Sentry down in that area.
Only 4 charges on OP's Bloodstone left, by the
That's
way.
bad.
That's very rough.
I think his last respawn was like 8 seconds. Just unacceptable. It's an
What
eternity for Lina.
what year is this? We have 4 heroes smoked up behind burning. Feels very reminiscent.
I'm gonna look to try and bait him out. Burning though, it's another story here that you touched on earlier. He's still having abysmal farm. In the Solar
Wow,
Crest and
yeah.
a point booster.
He's
Not
so
even a point booster,
just
just a
above
vitality
the
booster.
Bad Rider.
Oh, Dogfights tries to gank a bird, but instead he gets gone on here and will be bursted down. Swap out on Super here for a secondary kill. Cicada
Burning.
might be
Was
able
that
to turn
worth
this
it?
around though with the help of In July. He keeps going for these plays. Brought on a tier 3, but now stun up Cicada, pops a BKB. Now the Stampede to get away from the ultimate, but once again Lina with the 8-second respawn. As OP gets caught in the gutter.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was worth it from Burning. You know, oh, hey, let me swap into the tier 2 for this Crystal
Yes.
Maiden.
A good lasso
Sure,
back.
he got out, but they paid with Alina for it. But like you said, hey, she's back again.
Such a crazy hero. And Paparazzi now is in an awkward position to try and defend him against 5 heroes as a slug. It's not really a fun place to be. Sakata, without the ultimate, also not as scary, unless they'll just all group up like they are and set themselves up for triple raises.
There's a bit of the awkward thing about IG's lineup. I like the fact that they're, you know, constantly group up as 5 to take these objectives, because otherwise, if they would split, they would pretty much get killed by the Slug and the Shadow Fiend, and the Nixus and the Bad Rider. But they don't have any sustain on their lineup. Where's the mech? Where's the urn? Where's whatever? They don't even have mana boots. So literally, once somebody is low on HP and mana, that becomes a little bit of an awkward fight now.
Yep. Awkward fights are not what they really want to be taken, yet also don't want to be stuck in a situation where they're defending high ground because they don't have the best heroes for the job. So they need to go for these kind of plays. Smoke up as 5, try and find something, but of course if you're already flying with Firefly, you're not exactly stealthy even when you're smoked up.
Or Vitality rather, I think you could tell that they were thinking, you know what, let's contest this Roshan. Yeah, we're smoking up, and then somebody probably made the call. Hey guys, you know they do have a medal or a Solar Crest.
Yeah.
They have Corrosive Haze. I don't think we'll make it in time. And
Like
they wouldn't have.
They were halfway
They wouldn't
there.
have made it in time.
By the time the message came through. And... Well, what do they do now? They do get the lasso on the centaur. Follow-up stun from Dogfights. Burning swaps himself in. Keeping Exorcist alive, ready for Stampede whenever. The Slaughter will fall first in exchange for Super. Now Burning starting to drop low, raise a couple of right clicks here. Cicada, BKB, and Ultimate just to try and control his fight a little bit more and pop the Aegis, and they do. But Dogfights cannot help his body. cannot help but survive, but they will get the counter kill on Visage, and the fight's still raging up here. Slag in a lot of trouble though. He dies out of his ultimate, out of out of
Oh no,
Invis, another
burning!
double stun. And Sakata, well, he needs to carry this, but up against the Centaurs, way more health points. Cannot actually deal with the return damage right now until the Shrine pops. Blink forward here, trying to burst him through the Shrine region.
No!
Not exactly working. Now XSS is actually in a lot of trouble after all. OP TP's in on one of the birds, gets the kill. And now perhaps looking for dogfights as well. Max mana bonus there if he wants to try and turn this around. Another stun by Carapace in a couple of seconds. There it is. Oh, he gets the Laguna Blade! Follow up with a stomp. With the mana burn, it's OP who dies another time. Dogfights with the place throughout this entire team fight, letting nothing but double stuns, and then carapacing the Laguna Blade, waiting patiently for that to come out. Incredible.
I really wish we could the team the fight recap would show us how many targets you hit with a spell, because I'm pretty sure Dogfights hit some insane impales in that game and that engagement. That was a good fight, a really good fight from Vitality, and a really questionable fight from IG. I think Vitality just did a really good job of isolating the heroes that they needed to. They made sure that they bursted down Burning very early on, and he popped his Aegis, and that was fine. But by the time he popped his Aegis, they pretty much killed everybody else. They went for the Visage early on as well. They made sure that they killed these very squishy heroes just as quickly as possible, and then there's just a Centaur left, and what's a Centaur gonna do?
I think the most important part was the fact that Slada got brought down first without really being able to provide too much.
Right.
Because if you really think about it, that's an 8-second cooldown on a Slithering Crush. Right? That's just as long as Lina used to respawn for, if you really think about it. But he couldn't get any of that off, because he died first. And then all of a sudden you're missing a huge control factor. Especially in fights that are so spread out and so crazy. I mean, we saw what dogfights can do.
Oh,
He has,
Visage.
oh god, he's dead again.
And
We
he
saw what
lost
dogfights
both
can do
birds.
with multiple impales throughout the entire fight, and if IG still had that from the slaughter, maybe it turns out differently. So in that sense, maybe Burning should have swapped him instead of the center.
Possibly, yes. Possibly. And you're also missing the minus armor from huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, IG is full of pretty much all about physical damage outside of the Lina. So you definitely want that Corrosive Haze on as many targets as possible. Interesting item choice by, or not interesting, but I'm not sure if many people realize this, but Pipe of Insight on the Visage. Say, even though they already have a pipe on the Centaur, but if you're a Visage, you basically want to make sure that your birds have the pipe buff.
Oh, like Lasso
Every
instant
time.
swap out from Burning, but can actually catch him? No, not with the Stampede coming through. Paparazzi misses
fight the
the
crush!
jaunt, and he actually gets him! Beautiful blink control into the ultimate from Lina. Now Dogfights, well, probably has to offer himself up a sacrifice. Carapace not helping him survive this time. Double kill for
Huge
Lina.
crush from Boboka.
Yeah.
That crush into the tree den was huge. And with this, Slark doesn't have a buyback. I think if you're IG, you probably think to yourself, yeah, we're going to force the buyback from Slark, but once they realize that he doesn't have buyback, they can just go all in on these racks.
This tower's already down below half health with Centaur tanking it. Turn also starting to work out. So this Rax will most likely fall. Sakata doesn't even bother defending, he's just trying to split, was trying to get something off of this, but they might lose even more, right? The Centaur's tank enough that it can easily
That's at least another
take care of
Rax,
this tower, yeah. So all of a sudden,
That's
just
the
because
power
of
of
these
this
two
lineup.
pickoffs, IG gets the sets of racks that puts him so far ahead in this game all of a sudden.
And Sakata can't even trade sufficiently.
Come on, birds, finish
Somebody,
the range.
somebody take the range racks, please.
Had the birds right there, they could have easily done it, but no.
Either set, really.
Yeah. Just half a second. Another round of right clicks from everybody.
Maybe it's like a threat from IG, just to show them, yeah, we have a reason to come back. We're gonna be back, guys. Either way, just looking at the gold graph. Oh yeah, that last engagement, I think, or not even that last engagement, but I think the few last engagement or the few last minutes, I guess, have pulled it back for IG. And suddenly these items are coming out. BKB on the Lina, BKB on the Slaughter. Those are going to be huge.
Yeah. That
Negating the
looks
impact from dogfights, I think, is
exactly.
going to be really important.
Dogfight, super. Batrider to some degree outside of the lasso. Even Shadow Fiend is raises in his ultimate.
Or his ultimate, yeah.
And the thing is, if you cannot rely on these tools and these crutches to help you win a team fight, then what else do you really have? And Shadow Fiend is a decent right click at this point, I guess. Decent amount of damage, but Slark, he generally needs some time and a lot of essence shift stacks to really become that problematic.
And it looks like iG.V want to look for a kill or want to look for a fight now on their own terms, basically.
Yeah,
Smoked
pick
up
off
and
might be
Shadowbladed up.
Q, and yeah, they'll pop the last one. Instant swap, though, again, burning. Coming through, Staccato with the ultimate right on top of him, blows him up immediately when Paparazzi takes care of the backlines. Now the fight goes on as they have a bit of a lag spike. Not sure what that was about, but yeah, it stays for this with this one pick off. The rest of IG able to walk away in the back of the Stampede. But once again, Burning swaps himself in, and Staccato this time in the right position with the ultimate.
Now Burning was just deleted within a second.
Yeah.
And that just comes back to, I guess, Burning not even opting for the BKB, which makes sense to some degree because he definitely wanted the Dragonlance first. I'm not sure about Santiniasha, but either way,
he's been holding on to this casual vid booster this entire time. Do you think that's actually
which is
worth it?
nice. Yeah. If you consider the amount of armor you have, just because, you know, Solo Crest, the Vitality booster becomes that much more valuable because of how EHP works, you know, armor and HP. So I think it's good. You can always transition it later into what, a heart maybe, if you want to. But I think it's a good pickup. I think he picked it up after the Solar Crest even, so that's pretty much as effective as it gets.
Well, we need a couple more of those to help protect him from the Shadow Fiend ultimate.
He definitely needs the BKB next,
Yeah.
like 100%. He might go for Hurricane Pike first, just because it's a good defensive item, and in general, I think Hurricane Pike against the Vitality lineup could be great. But
both teams, they
Wants
have
BKB.
the same thoughts. With IG and Vitality looking for Roche. Paparazzi had the Q going, so his Blink Stun will not lock him down. Blink Crush, maybe they're on to two.
Huge crush.
Paparazzi turns around with his BKB, has the ultimate at the ready as well. Beautiful stun there from Dogfights, sitting there with his Agnum Scepter. This fight breaks out, Lasso swapped out again. It's only Lina dead, but that's a huge amount of damage from IG that's missing, so I don't think they can continue to take the fight. They're still trying though. Boboka continuing with the crush, follow from the stomp here, brings the card down lower and lower, and he will take the spill. Dogfights a little bit more forward here with the Spike Carapace stunning them up. Follow up with the Impale. We'll take care of one XSSS. Nothing actually left to cancel that, which is a bit interesting, but no Frostbite, no stun from Dogfights. Means that you can just TP out, but 2-for-1 trade, I want to say, in favor of iG.V.
Yeah, but in the meantime, the creeps take the bottom racks, and
yeah, that's not ideal.
they did kill Sakata, which is a huge kill.
Yeah.
They didn't lose their Lina, I believe.
They did lose Lina, but Lina's just respawning so quickly still
right. She keeps
that it's still almost worth it for IG if they take these kind of trades. Just because you have an entire minute now. We have your mid laner, while the other team doesn't.
He has 2 Bloodstone charges though.
Dogfight's on the outside, revealing himself. Paparazzi comes in, starting to stack up more and more on these charges, looking to try and finish up Burning, swaps himself out defensively. This time Paparazzi actually gets bursted down, Q barely gets his ultimate off, and walks away before the Dragon Slave can finish him. That was so scary. Super in the meantime dies during all that too.
It really was.
They defend Roche for now.
That's actually the important part. SF is going to be back in 10 seconds, and I think IG, that's going to be really scary.
Still need a little bit more time. Dogfight with another triple stun. But Roche is dropping lower
It's
and
not gonna be
lower.
enough.
They can maybe snag it here, but blink out from Boboka. Pops his own BKB, try and fight against 3 heroes. Nice little double Laguna Blade. Triple stun there!
Triple stun!
4 stuns! What is going on? iG.Vitality just running into this AoE control. And they're all dying to it. That was
blinks out, crushes, gets a double stun, then the Centaur with a triple stun, and then the Visage Bird with the
No, no, wait.
quadruple stun.
I think how that worked was Boboka gets a stun on 1, then Lina gets a Dragon Slave on 2, then a triple
Oh,
stun from
right,
the
right.
Centaur, and then a
Right.
quad stuns from the bird. But yeah, Paparazzi still trying to fight. He doesn't quite get the kill on Boboka. Stampede's out, and now he's out of defensive utility. Just swap back into it here. Glimmer came on top of him though. Will be enough to keep him safe, just barely into the shrine. But the tower falls. iG.Vitality, well, they defend the
buyback
racks, the
forced.
last remaining racks, but yeah, they have to give up so much for it.
2 buybacks forced, and if you look at Sakata, he hasn't progressed in his items for, I want to say, the past 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He has been holding on to this quarter stuff for a while now, and he's been trying to work towards that butterfly, but it's just not been working out. I mean, those team fights, they just do a really good job of stacking these stuns, and since these BKBs, their charges drop lower and lower. I mean, they're at 5 seconds now on Sakata at least. That just makes it so much more difficult to play around all these disables. Like we counted out, they have so many ways of stunning people. And IG is just doing a really good job of making sure that they trade. You know, like I mean, we laugh at the fact that you can throw the Lina at the enemy and she's just going to be back, but I think this has been part of their game plan pretty much ever since he picked that talent. They're like, hey guys, we're just going to throw ourselves at them and make sure that we, trade efficiently.
Yep. It's been working out so far. Taking another look at the graphs. For the longest time, Vitality has been in control of this game, but for now, 10k is the number in favor of Invictus Gaming. And experience graph as well, right at the 0 line.
But look at these items that are coming out of IG. This is going to make it really difficult for Vitality to find even more kills. There's the Shiva's Guard, which is huge against SF just because of the attack speed reduction. There's the Lotus Orb on the Centaur, which is huge.
Both have 2 pipes. One in center, one on the Visage.
And now they have the Hurricane Pike on Burning as well. So it's going to be even more difficult to kill him because he can swap, and once he's in a dangerous position, he can force himself out.
In July. Maybe there was a plan, maybe just trying to force out something. If you want to blink in for last, you gotta get Burning right now, don't you?
Probably. You want to find Burning because everybody else is just going to get swapped out.
Exactly. Yeah, staring down the barrel here. They do have the Nyx Assassin high ground defense, but they're kind of being pulled apart. Bottom lane is pushing in heavily. Need to divert some resources towards that, which is making things a little bit scary here at XXS. Just blinking in, the triple stun, and now Paparazzi trying to make use of it, bashes up to Lina, and if he dies first, well, he gets the spells off anyway. Darkfights falls, no buyback in him. Sakata has to pick up the mantle, same with Paparazzi, who's just hitting away on his ultimate, but swapped out back into the rest of IG, isolated from his own squad. And he will fall without buyback. 2 for 2 trades so far. The rest of IG is starting to drop lower and lower. Gem on a deck, but Burning is still alive. And kicking as well. Super. Not long for the world. In fact, they call it right now. GG.
Yeah. No buyback on Slark.
Lina dies just with the death roll.
That was a really good game from IG. Vitality played it really well as well, but I think, honestly, if it hadn't been for that Slark death, I'm not even sure we could have called it a bad game from Vitality, or we could have really pointed out too many mistakes. When Slark died next to the tier 2 tower, I mean, it was an engagement where they tried to find a kill, and it was just a very unfortunate death. It wasn't even much of a mistake from him, but that just opened up the double Rex just because this is the nature of IG's lineup. If anything, I think we could point out more mistakes from IG because in the early game and the mid game, they didn't really play too well. I mean, I think they had a lot of positional mistakes, and they just didn't find the right farm on any hero really, but they just clawed their way back into the game by making sure they go for the objectives. I think that's I think what basically won them the game, grouping up as 5 very early on, making sure they take all the outer towers, and then making up for that network deficiency just with tower and gold.
Yeah. Then eventually, once they use that to shore up their item disadvantages, they've been able to put together decent team fights. Right? I mean, at times iG.Vitality ran into that, especially this one very interesting cascading multi-stun done near the Roach Pit. I still can't get over that. A single stun, a double stun, a triple stun, and then a quad stun. Never seen this before, but yeah, it's still. Uh, yeah, as you mentioned, this one defining moment was that Slar kill, which only happened because the Stampede came out just at the right time, so he misses the pounce on burning. So
And then a
that
sick crush
one,
on Boboko.
yeah, then it's a crush. Yeah, it's this one overextension that was the turning or the turning point, I should say, for IG. But yeah, they won game number 1. This is a best of 2 though, so maybe Vitality can snag a point off the sister team after all. We'll find out soon, but for now, just gonna take a short break.